You're looking at Lakeland, Tennessee, and seeing the beautiful homes, the serene lakes, and those top rated schools. But what if I told you there are some essential truths about living here that I understand because I moved here 3 years ago that most people do not understand are going to have a significant impact on your daily life? I'm Garth, and I help guide people through relocating to greater Memphis. You can call or text me at 253-737-8018. Lakeland is often lauded for its peaceful and suburban feel, and it absolutely does deliver on that. However, it often gets overlooked as the reality of the overall commute times, especially if you're working all the way in downtown Memphis or the further reaches of the metro area, like the south area of Memphis or something like that. It can be fairly long, right? With the wide roads, often with the borders and getting into the major employment hubs and things like that, super different story. When you're trying to hit I-40 on peak hours, it's very, very difficult to get there. I don't want to overstate that, but at the same time, it can take you 30 minutes 35 minutes to get all the way downtown if that's something that you have to do. If you're off hours, it won't matter. If you are not going all the way into downtown, it also won't matter. So that's just something to be aware of that people don't think about, because when you pull up a larger map, you realize, oh, that looks really, really short. But the time just to get to the freeway is somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And then when you hit the freeway, that can vary between about 15 to 25 minutes, depending on how bad that traffic is, or if there's a crash, because the drivers here a bit insane sometimes. And Lakeland's known overall for its just beautiful, often larger homes compared to the other metro areas. The price point can feel so attractive because you can get really, really good homes for not that much money. But let's talk about like the true cost. In general, while the property taxes in Tennessee are generally lower than other states, Lakeland's specific tax rate and the types of home here mean that your homes come with a higher utility bill cost in general because it's MLGW, and potentially more significant maintenance costs as well. Plus, the amenities like make Lakeland overall more appealing, like the lakes and the community facilities, they factor into the overall cost structure, not just for the purchase price, but the lifestyle price tag. Where are you going to go shopping? Where are you going to get your food? Is there a Walmart nearby? The reality is no. You're going to get your food at Kroger. You're going to spend slightly more on other amenities that you otherwise wouldn't if you were closer into town, like, say, Bartlett or something like that. And I always advise people to look further beyond just the general sticker price of the house before we actually make an overall determination of what makes the most sense for geography and where you ultimately want to live. The community itself is super strong, super high sense of pride. In fact, I thought when I was moving to Lakeland that it would be like Lakeland, Arlington. It's the same kind of thing. No. People from Lakeland are very much from Lakeland. People from Arlington are very much from Arlington. I believe they're kind of fused, but the communities do not agree. But like any area in general, integrating can take a little bit of effort. It's not a transient city. People are not coming and going. People have been here that have lived here for generations, not I moved here and I moved away. People stay once they find this place, and I plan to as well. There's so much happening with future development around here, like the Blue Oval breakdown, which is going to actually end up being tech with Google and all the other things that are happening in the Delta data center that they're going to turn it into, that the jobs are coming with high incomes. And those high income jobs are getting people with money that want to buy in high quality suburban areas with good schools and low crime. And Lakeland is topping that list. And that's also one of the reasons why I ended up moving here as well. So those overall ripple effects are changing the entire fabric of what their eastern corridor of greater Memphis looks like. And that construction is absolutely booming, whether it's the commercial new construction or whether it is the new housing developments, which are happening absolutely everywhere. But what does the actual school system look like? You're delving into it and you're thinking, okay, people say they have good schools, but what does that mean? They consistently receive high ratings. And for many families, that's like the main draw of what brings them to Lakeland in general. However, let's look beyond the raw scores. What does the school culture actually look like? What does it feel like? What kind of extracurriculars are available? What class sizes are growing or not growing? The academic foundation overall is strong, and understanding the nuances of the school and how they handle the growth and special programs and community involvement is super important. What you need to understand is the class sizes in general in Lakeland are about 1 to 12 to 1 to 18 versus many other places, like where I came from over in the Seattle area, 1 to 35 was the teacher to student ratio. Absolutely different. It's almost a 3 times better structure and system. It operates as a 3A school right now for the preparatory academies, but it will probably likely be back down to 2A. Your kids' class sizes in general are going to be like 250 to 350 children per year. So it's not a large school at all. People are well interconnected, and many people have actually taken their kids out of the private schools like Briarcrest and ECS and all of those to just put them in the public school system here in Lakeland, because they say that there's not very much distinguishable difference between the differences. And that's big to me personally. So, despite all of the overall realities, Lakeland holds a lot of charm, which is also why I ended up here. The good lakes, the dedicated parks, the strong community, the implementation of the Lakes District, which is going to be an entire walkable shopping, restaurant, retail area, and the new YMCA that's being built as we speak add tons of character and lots of different things to do. And there's lots of great places to eat, places to operate sports. I personally coach TSA, competitive soccer, and everybody gets to know each other. I have very well interconnected into the community, and I see somebody almost every time I leave my house that I understand. That tight-knit community is something you cannot replicate unless you live in it. And it absolutely delivers on all of the things that you want it to. Family focus, suburban living, good on crime. It has a great centralized local government. We have the state troopers that are just down the street. We have great schools and everything that you're going to want out of it. The main drawback is going to be that commute if you have to go into the city. I personally don't every day, so that makes a big difference to me. So that's it, guys. That's it. I know I usually like to come up with a lot of drawbacks to the city, and here there isn't really many, except you might have to pay a little bit more money for things like groceries and utilities because you're in MLGW, and you don't have a lot of grocery store options right nearby. Obviously, you can drive into town. There is Costco and Walmart. You just have to drive a little bit to get there. But if you're not going to do that, you're going to pay a little bit more. And because of that, that's the main thing that you're going to see. And if you are trying to delve into the super specifics, you want to compare and contrast this with Germantown. You want to delve into whether Lakeland or Arlington makes sense. Let's take one little stab at schools, right? If you want to go to Lakeland schools, you have to live in Lakeland. If you want to go to Arlington schools, you can pay and you can opt in to an Arlington school. You cannot opt in to a Lakeland school. So if you want the ability to potentially choose between the two, you might want to go Lakeland. If you don't really care about the Lakeland School District, you can maybe go Arlington. So it's just something to think about when you weigh those options. If you're trying to delve into all of the particulars and you want a firm, clear guidance and a good pathway to making sure that you get everything you want out of your property, reach out to me directly at 253-737-8018, where I will help walk you through my specific process that have helped thousands of people buy and sell homes in the last 14 years. You could be next, and I want to make sure that you don't just find a good house or a good home, but we make a solid investment choice for you, your family, and your future.